Rivian started the electric pickup game in late 2021 and then came forward with the Lightning with availability in mid-2022. Chevy's coming with the Silverado by the end of this year in 2023. But Ram wants to revolutionize the EV pickup truck segment with the 1500 Revolution. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Kirk. This is Kirky Cars, where I talk about electrified vehicles. I reside here in South Florida with my beautiful family, and the Ram 1500 Revolution is a game changer, or should be a game changer when it hits the market by the end of 2024. So today we're going to talk about all the details of this game-changing pickup truck and also how it stacks up against the competition like the Rivian, like the F-150 Lightning and the Silverado EV, amongst others. I have a big spreadsheet for you guys to sink your teeth into. So I could read this very wordy and pretty boring press release here, but instead I think we're just going to go to the pictures and we're going to break down all the images that we have of this truck. One of my favorite things about the Ram is that every single opportunity that they have to illuminate the Ram logo, they do. So you have illumination around the Ram up front and also on the side as well as the rear. We have these tuning fork-like headlights, which reminds me a lot of Yamaha and their tuning fork identity. You also see REV up here on the top. Revolution starts with REV. That's why it's there on the hood of the truck. We also have this skid plate down here, or should I say kind of like a fake skid plate. It would be great if this would be a little bit more durable, but you know it's going to be plastic. We also have fog lights that are integrated into the front of the vehicle. Also, we have these amber lights up front, and there are 3 of them, which indicates this is going to be a very wide truck. We see this on the TRX, for example. You see it on the Raptor, or even Toyota's TRD Pro offerings. Massive wheels. I would assume these are 22-inch wheels. And I would love for there to be a little bit more of an off-roady version of this, but we'll see. Also, you have digital side mirrors. In 2024, laws have to change in America in order for any vehicle to have digital side mirrors. Our first look at the back, this tailgate does split in half. It folds down, it extends as well. Here's a side profile of the truck. If it comes to the market looking this sleek, it is going to be very highly sought after. I think it's the best looking truck out there. I think it looks a little bit better than the Silverado EV, which is a little too soft in my opinion. This does not look soft. This still looks pretty masculine while being aerodynamic. You have the charging port in front of the driver's door. Another look at the front. A better look at the rear. And these rear taillights remind me of that Tron vehicle. Recognizer, I think is what it's called, where it like finds people and picks them up. So getting a little Tron inspiration here. And you also see the REV badge down at the bottom. Some images of the truck in motion. Obviously, these are all CGI at this point in time. A little bit more illumination with those brake lights. Those are probably going to blind people. Very Tron-like vibes I'm getting even with the surroundings of the truck. Check out this roof. It is fully glass. There are some partitions in here for structural stability. And you also have these little lines that go across. I would assume these lines are for the heating of the roof, so you can actually see out of the roof in the wintertime due to the heating coils on the inside. Here's the front. I believe you can open it with just one button. You also have charging ports over here, USBs, you have cup holders in here, you have drop down hooks, and these partitions here also fold down and fold up. Now what's interesting, it looks like we have an extendable portion in here. If you wanted to put something longer, it looks like you'll be able to do that in the front. That kind of looks like it goes into the cabin. Unfortunately, when you have partitions that go into the vehicle, it could make the vehicle louder unless you have these sealed off and insulated. Will you be able to put ice in here? I would assume so, but the thing is, look at these tracks for cargo. I would assume they have holes in them. So I don't know how well it will do, at least without equipping it with maybe some additions for it to be water sealed. This is incredible. We've seen the Canoo truck be able to do things like this, but Ram is doing it as well. Here's the folding midgate, which also has jump seats in it. So I'll show that to you guys in a little bit. But check this out. The tailgate splits in half. You have a fold out tailgate here. And then you have this running board on the bottom that extends as well. You have a brake light at the bottom, just like the Canoo pickup truck. And the floor here also raises to make this a flat floor. It kind of reminds me of a Pez machine because as this partition slides out, this one pops up behind it. The doors open up like this, and look at the amount of orange highlights in here. Do you like the orange highlights? Do we know if it's going to be customizable LEDs? We don't know at this point in time, actually. I hope they are, because people might not want orange, even though I think it looks amazing. We have orange seat buckles in here. Hopefully that makes it to production. Now, these seats, I love the tracks that they're on, that they can slide forward and back. You have controls on the door here. My guess would be for windows and maybe controlling the seats as well. Not quite sure. But notice there's no B-pillar. Will that make it to production? I want it to, but I highly doubt it. I think it would compromise the safety of the passengers unless these doors are built out of pure granite or something. I just don't see it happening. The screen here folds away. And in the press release, I think it says removable, but I think it really just folds up and tucks up under this main screen here. So you have about a third of the screen. So you can have your climate control down here, your maps up top, your music up top, but you can fold it out, and you can also tilt these screens to adjust to the eyesight of the driver, which I think is great. Like one vehicle I drove recently, like the Toyota Supra, the screen is like facing the roof. It's very bizarre, and it doesn't like it's not catered to the driver whatsoever. So hopefully these are tiltable in multiple axes. We have this oblong looking steering wheel. It's going to be steering by wire more than likely. You could probably get away with a steering yoke. And something that's oblong like this, you don't want to be going hand over hand because it's hard to predict the shape of the wheel. So more than likely, it's like a steering by wire system. It's essentially a steering yoke, but unlike a steering yoke, you can rest your hand on top, and that's what people really like to do, or just having the option of grabbing the wheel in different areas. So I do like this implementation. Of course, you have some touch-sensitive buttons in here that hopefully are physical by the time it hits production. I'm not a big fan of touch-sensitive buttons. Also on the top, you have some controls that I didn't notice before. So probably additional climate control features up on the roof for the rear passengers, but I guess if you're reclined in the front passenger seat, you can play with these settings as well. It would be nice if we could have a dimmable or a variable dimness, if that makes sense, a variable shade level for the top roof, so you're not getting blasted all the time, or maybe you want to get blasted so you can remove the tent. That would be great. That would be next level. Toyota kind of does that with its Stargazer sunroof on the Venza, for example, but we just don't see like a variable shade rate or a multiple polarizer, I guess you could say. I do love the ambient lighting throughout the vehicle. Pretty simple with the vents here. Now I only see a vent here and a vent here, but this looks to be 3D. So maybe a little bit like Tesla, they have the air coming out of the dash here, which would be pretty darn cool. Let's keep moving. You have a wireless charger. What is this? It says something like RAM e-charger. And it looks like there's two wireless chargers. So you have a vertical one here and a vertical one there. Again, more touch sensitive buttons. And this has the screen that's fold out. So you look at the media screen, you have smart home. So are you able to adjust the temperature of your house? You also have multiple climate control settings here on the left. You can see the camera system on the far right. Window close. So you have this massive screen up top just for at least this setting for window closing and opening, which is kind of weird. But on the top right, you have your state of charge, 90% there, 56 miles per hour. So you have your digital speedometer there as well. Here's a better idea of the climate control. And yes, you can control your house. I don't know whose house looks like this, but you can control your house and its climate control from the vehicle. So you control the lights, the individual lights, the smart lights from your house, from your truck. That's pretty next level. At this point, you would think it would all be voice sensitive. You can just use your Alexa home system or whatever you have your smart system plugged into, and you can just talk to your vehicle and let it do it all through voice settings. But I guess it's kind of cool to have the digital visualization of it as well. I like the textures in here. We have kind of like this stone like material on the inside. I don't know what kind of texture it is, but at least the visual texture is very appealing, very rugged, very masculine. We also have these fold out tables here that kind of swivel and move forward. It looks like on tracks. That is your traditional armrest, and then it pops open for a table. Maybe a lady wants to put on her makeup, or you can put a laptop on here as well. And on the back seat, gosh, look at the just amount of leg room here. This thing is going to be a luxury chauffeur VIP truck if you want it to be. We also have this head-up display that looks pretty next level. You can see how much miles of range are left. Maybe this is saying that we can expect a minimum of 280 miles, but you can see that the gauge is not filled as it goes up. So maybe we could expect over 300 miles of range, but it says to be like a game changer. So I'd expect them to put some stupid huge batteries on this truck as well. I do like the head-up display overall. I like how that the safety system is in there, kind of like a compass, top-down compass as well. Navigation is in there. And then it says, you know, your next turn is in 6 miles, it looks like. So pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm digging this truck quite a bit, but it is a concept and it is coming to market the last. Kind of reminds me a little bit like Toyota's strategy when it comes to everything. They're not really a game changer, but when they come to the market with a product, they want to one-up everyone and learn from the successes and failures of everyone else who hit the market before them. So let's get into the spreadsheet here. And this spreadsheet is pretty big at this point. We have so many truck offerings now and coming in the near future. So currently on the market is Rivian R1T, which will have a dual motor setup. It's only available in quad motor. It will have a dual motor setup by the time the Ram Revolution comes out. You have the Hummer GMC EV, which is a tri-motor setup. I believe they're going to have a quad motor setup of that soon. And you also have the F-150 Lightning dual motor, which has multiple horsepower out ratings and different battery packs as well. You have the Lordstown Endurance, which is a fleet vehicle only. Silverado EV, Canoo EV truck, and Cybertruck should be coming out in 2023. Then the GMC Sierra and the Ram Revolution should be coming out the next year. The GMC Sierra should be a slightly upscale clone of the Silverado EV. And I can't believe like how much out of like nowhere, how many electric pickup trucks are hitting the market in just like a 2 to 3 year span. It's pretty mind blowing. You also have the Cybertruck that's supposed to come out in late 2023. I think it was originally supposed to come out in 2022 or even before that. I forget. It was unveiled in 2021 if I remember correctly. This should have the most flexibility with motor configuration, single, dual, triple, and quad motors. And they're also claiming the most miles. So in theory, it would have the largest battery pack. The Ram Revolution is on a next generation body on frame platform, which is pretty exciting. It's going to feel very trucky, like the F-150 Lightning, for example. The rest of them are kind of like a unibody setup on the list. It should come out by the end of 2024, the Ram REV. And, you know, they're calling this a game changer. We already know from the design, it's going to be pretty dang good looking. Also on the interior as well. The technology here is incredible. But is it going to have game-changing range? Is it going to have game-changing acceleration? As long as it's under 4 seconds, I feel like it's going to keep up with the competition just fine. It doesn't need to be the fastest and breaking 3 seconds or anything like that. I think Tesla is claiming the Cybertruck will do sub 3 seconds, which is just silly, but I guess it's possible if they stuff 1,500 horsepower into this Cybertruck. Ram Revolution 1500. How crazy if it said 1500 and it had 1500 horsepower. That seems over the top, but it is possible. And after watching my friend Sofian and his walk around of this truck, he did mention that Ram said that they are leaving space for larger motors. So I guess there'll be maybe a TRX trim that could have over 1,000 horsepower, but I don't expect it at launch. Maybe a couple years after launch, so 2026, something like that. You could see maybe a TRX variant, but who knows? It depends on the competition. It might force their hand earlier. I think we'll see a minimum of 250 miles upwards of 500 miles. I think 400 miles would be more than enough for this truck. And to get 400 miles of range in a truck this big, you need about 200 kilowatts or 200 kilowatt hours of battery, which is just so heavy, and it will make the truck like 9,000 pounds or close to 9,000 pounds, because that's what the Hummer EV is with its 205 kilowatt hour battery. I hope it has enough payload for over 2,000 pounds to match the Ford F-150 Lightning, and I hope it can tow over 10,000 pounds as well. One of my favorite things is the jump seats that fold down. In theory, you could have 6 to 7 passengers depending on that configuration of the truck. I don't know if those jump seats will make it to production with safety regulations, with airbags and seat belts and crash protection. I just don't know if they will be able to swing that. But if they do swing that, that will be a huge selling point for families. But I'm going to end it there. If you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the Ram REV 1500, make sure to smash the like button and stay subscribed, because so much news is coming down the hatch this year for electric vehicles, and I will be featuring electric vehicles on this channel for review. If you haven't made it over to my main channel, make sure to check that out for a wider scope of industry coverage. And thank you guys so much for your support. It's a lot of fun to expand in the new year with you. The kids are crying. It's a Saturday morning, so let's finish this up and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.